Can you handle this?
Yeah.
You sure?
And good morning, golfing world. It's TGD today, Monday morning golf wrap with Hugh Roy III and George Honeycutt. Good morning, HR3.
Good morning, sir.
How was your weekend?
It was chilly.
Yeah. That's
Hilton
a
Head
very
was
kind
windy.
word.
Hilton Head was windy and very cold, and then it rained. So
Yeah.
it was very uncomfortable.
We folks, in case you didn't know or watched the national weather, we picked up another low pressure area that went up there and hovered and hung right out in the ocean just off the coast here. And over the last couple of days, we've gotten several inches of rain. And yesterday, the temperature never got above 37, maybe 38.
Yeah. I think we got upwards of a little over 3 inches.
Yeah. I mean, crazy.
And, I mean, I was down in Hilton Head, and, it floods worse down there than it does here. And, I mean, it just rained. It wasn't
We got
anything.
no place for it to go.
I know.
Just no place.
I tell you what, I felt for those kids down there during the Junior Heritage, Haley, and even the boys, and what that wind was blowing the 18th hole. It was a par 5.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
I mean, an 18 is just a 450-yard par 4, And, I mean, these kids couldn't get there with woods, and I'm like going, y'all have fun with this one.
Wow. Well, hopefully they did get the event in. And,
they did.
And likewise, we took the Saturday golf group this weekend, and the ones of us that showed up, we ended up getting it in right before the rain started. So let's move on. I mean, a lot of golf was going on in some areas that had much better weather. And, of course, we're talking about the girls down at the Coats presented by R&L Carriers. They were in Florida, and it got a little cool for them. It got a little windy for them, and all of a sudden you start seeing the scores going
And they
up
got
there.
some rain. I mean, they had some standing water around there, in Ocala. And
Well, they were lift, clean, in place all 4 days.
Yeah.
So it was, kind of it turned out to be a shootout where those are Champion Bermuda greens, which are dormant. They had been painted, and they were commenting about how quick they were, but yet as the evening showers would come in, like on Wednesday and Thursday, it softened them up enough to where they could start throwing darts. And then the score started reflecting it.
Yes.
Until that cooler air that they felt coming in, because you watched them Thursday, they're playing in shorts.
Yeah.
The caddies are in shorts. Sunday, everybody's got a parka on, and they got snow boots and everything else.
Yeah.
So you could definitely see the progression of the weather and the cold front. But interesting day, Hugh, in the fact that you had a player that is reaching out for her first LPGA Tour win, and then you had number one player in the world tied with her. Yeah. And they started off that way. And the young lady, Hannah Jang, who is seeking that first win, I mean, she just goes out and shoots a smooth little even par 72. And she starts the day off at 11 under par. She finishes the day off at 11 under par, and she wins. And tell her the tape. I mean, it was just she controlled her misses. She controlled her club selection. And it's like you said 100,000 times on this network, watch these girls play. The way they handle course management, the way they handle club selection, the way they handle shot selection. I mean, I watched her on a couple of shots. She's taken 3 clubs more than her normal club that she would take for that particular yardage. And so it's just, she has a bogey on 9, makes the turn in 37. Then she bogeys 14, but to her credit, she then birdies 16, birdies 18 to win the event.
Well, I tell you what. And she played solid, and it was like you say, it was fun to watch. It wasn't any fireworks to it. There wasn't anything spectacular, but more impressively was watching Brooke Henderson all weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, that young lady. When she first came on last year, we talked about she overswings. She's Monday qualifying. Good luck.
Right.
This girl's going to be around for a while.
She had put in her card. The LPGA initially denied her.
Yeah.
And then finally at this year end, she's been given full exemption status on the LPGA Tour. And the girl is just 18 years old.
Well, she's earned it. Look at the money she's made. How do you not give her a card?
That's right.
I mean, come on. You set rules to help her. They earn it, they earn it. And number one, she's a cute girl. She's someone that's going to draw people out there. And she can play. She hits the absolute crap out of the thing.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, she can bomb it.
And she doesn't take a lot of time. She
She's a
just
little
gets
bitty
up
thing.
and hits it. And actually, she started the day off 2 shots back. By the 7th, 8th hole, she's tied for the lead.
Yeah.
She birdies 5. She birdies 6. Then she has a little hiccup on 8 bogeys. Then she makes the turn, birdies 11, the replica par 3 that they have there of Augusta. And then she ends up bogeying 14. And the bogey on 17 was really a hiccup on her part. Even though she bogeyed 14, I said, okay, girl, that's fine. Even if you don't make a birdie on the way in, I think you're going to probably be in a playoff. And with Jang, if she has any kind of hiccup, then she's going to go south in a hurry.
Yes.
Because, here she is, nerves, jittery. The weather is not helping her a least bit.
Not at all.
And so, but to Jang's credit, those 2 birdies on, like I said, 16 and 18, that just clinched it. Another individual that, of course, we all know and love, and that is Lydia Ko, number 1 player in the world. She started the day off tied with Jang at 11 under par, and she goes out and bogeys 4, birdies 5. So you think she's getting it back on track. Then all of a sudden she bogeys 7, bogeys 8, bogeys 9. And you're sitting here going, but she never lost a smile on her face. And you're sitting here thinking, okay, it's going to be like Rory. She's going to go out and, dominate the elements, and she's going to, for whatever reason, she's going to shoot 32 on the back. But no, she gets on 11, makes a double. She in the water that they've got in front of that replica hole, it was like, I think she was wondering how many balls she had in her bag, or the caddy was having her clean it out, one of the two.
Yeah.
Because her and the water were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, but she ends up doubling. Then she makes bogey on 13. Now, to her credit, she birdies 15, 16, 17 on the way in. But a little bit too little too late. She ends up shooting 75, finishes 8 under par, and, of course, tied for third. So, what's your impression? We're internet television here, Hugh, but what's your impression of Golden Ocala, the golf course? I've played it back in its day when it was going through its third owner, and it had no money, and, they hadn't cut the roughs in probably a month. But now we see it with this LPGA Tour stop going in there, and although they don't really promote the replica holes,
basically that's what it is, though. It's like World Tour here. It's the replica holes, and that's what they're playing. That's what it is.
They've got number 1, number 18 at St. Andrews. They've got the road hole at St. Andrews. Number 1 actually is kind of neat because they actually had to cut the burr out, to get the little burn going across the little creek in front of the green. You can see where they just took a backhoe and just cut right across in front of the green. And then they put some rocks down there and things like that. But I don't know. I've never been really high on replica golf courses. But then again, too, the golf course, you could see the dormant Bermuda rough. The fairways had been overseeded rye. The greens were dormant and been painted. You could tell that. I assume that golf course now is healthy again financially.
It looks that way. And then, I think it played well for the girls. You look at how they played it. It was a test, and it also gave them opportunities to make birdies, to give a little excitement to this situation. And, it's like, watching on Saturday, you're seeing these girls hit across the little ditch on the one hole in the back 9. I think like 14 or 15, where they've got the burn right there and they're hitting across and the pin was there. And, it's a matter of, who's got the guts to stand there and try to hit the shot to that little tuck pin, or who's going to just play it safe and put it behind the flag. And, 75% of them hit it behind that flag.
Right.
And then you see the par 3 looks like 12 at Augusta, and you got all, it just, the replica courses I don't have a problem with them, George. I think they're fun, especially if they're done right to where they are actual replicas and not, just kind of thrown together to make you think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're coming from.
Yeah. It's so much when you go play these holes, it's extremely difficult to replicate the actual undulation and any kind of elevation or mounding or whatever in the greens.
And then with the bushes and the things you need around there, if it is Augusta and whatnot, that takes a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. I mean they tried to replicate Race Creek. I mean, I understand that. But when you looked at the green on hole number 11, it's pretty flat.
Yeah.
And when we know that the actual hole there at number 12 at Augusta is not flat. It's one of the flatter ones on the golf course. But that thing is still got a little bit of tilt, just enough to where we've seen a lot of guys 12 feet behind the pin worry about it going into the creek if they get a little bit too aggressive with their putt coming down, especially with front left or front right pin,
Well, but you look at it. I mean, it slopes in different directions on the 12th hole at Augusta.
Away from the green also.
I mean, I'm back, almost like if you hit it a little past where you need to, it's going to run off the back into that little swell. And there you could see that green was set from back to front, which would hold a shot. Which, fine, the average golfer, that's going to help them keep it on the green. They're not playing hockey. So.
And that's where I'm going for. It's but again, too, I'm glad they got the tournament. Ocala's a wonderful area.
Oh, incredible.
A wonderful area. It's known as the horse capital of the world or a horse capital of the country or whatever. But I'm glad to see, because this golf course, literally, I've seen it go through many years of it was almost in dilapidation, bankruptcy, foreclosure. There wasn't a home around there.
Yeah.
And now you looked at the coverage, and here's all these $1 million homes that are stuck around this golf course. So congratulations to everybody at the Coates. I mean, it turned out to be great, and the weather even made it even more entertaining, let's say.
Yeah.
Because they had to play. Now, also going on over the weekend, of course, we had this is a great opportunity for us to be entertained in wee hours early in the morning. And, of course, I'm talking about the Omega Dubai Classic. And, of course, Rory's playing in it. You sit there and look at his scores, and you say, okay, really Friday, Saturday, Rory kind of just fiddle-farted around. And you sit there and say, my goodness, this guy can't make a putt. He can't make a chip. He's making wrong club selections. And he shoots 68. So, you wonder when the guys – and then Sunday, finally, he started making some putts, and he shot 65. But it was too little too late again in that whole scenario. But hats off to Danny Willett, who ends up holding off Rafa Cabrera Bello, who Rafa is – he's playing some golf, Boo.
He's been playing golf well for the last couple of months.
He's serious. He just – no nonsense. He just plays his own game. And, I think after a while, you sit there and look at the translation aspect and the communication aspect, and, maybe he even hears people in the crowds, but he doesn't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you who also was up at the top of the leaderboard, Hugh, who I very much enjoy watching play golf, and that's Andy Sullivan. That boy is so emotional. I mean, you could tell he loves the game of golf.
Yeah.
And to see that spark and that emotion and that excitement, when he hit the putt on, I think it was 14 or 15, about a 15-footer for par. He is getting into it. He's doing the old David Duvall.
Yeah.
Shirt halfway out in the back. He's slinging the arms. He just loves every bit of it. And I'm sitting here going, good for you, Andy. Good for you. Now go on and win this sucker. And you can see Willett, he was just, Danny Willett's gotten better through the years. Callaway's done a tremendous amount for him in calming down his misses. Is that a good way of saying that?
That's very good.
Because he can get a little wry with the driver. He can get a little wry with the long irons because he's not the longest player in the world, but he's not the shortest.
Yeah.
But where Danny also helped himself come to this win by one shot was the birdie putt on 18. Of course, that ended up cinching it. But because Rafa was breathing, and so was Andy. But Andy was, my gosh, the emotional roller coaster. I mean, they were just sitting there feeding him IVs of Prozac on every tee box. I mean, he's just up and down, up and down, up and down, because he'd pull one left and he'd send one right and he'd do this and do that. And you're sitting there living and breathing and dying by Andy Sullivan and forgetting all about Danny Willett.
Yeah.
But for him to sink that putt and to go ahead and pick up this win, I mean, Danny he entered the tournament, Hugh, at 20 in the world golf rankings. He's going to end up coming out of this thing at about 12. So the official rankings will come out today. This is his fourth European Tour win in 190, I think it's like 192 events.
Really?
So he's been around for a while. And for him, I mean, he picks up 402 euros, 402,000 euros. And we mentioned Rory. He ends up finishing in sixth place with Henrik Stenson, who, if you watched Henrik Thursday and Friday, it looked like his tournament to win. He was going to run away with it, and then all of a sudden he hit Saturday and he hit a little hiccup. Ends up shooting 70 as a hiccup. So, but Willett ends up winning this thing with a 70 on Thursday, then 65, 65, 69. Solid play. Congratulations.
Very solid.
Yeah. So Danny Willett picks up a win, a needed win, and him moving up to number 12 in the world golf rankings was only going to help him in the long term. Of course, they have the race for Dubai, but for Danny Willett, he wants to make sure that he's in the quote-unquote discussions for Ryder Cup. And so, that to him, same thing for Andy Sullivan. He's looking for that discussion to be happening with him. And then, of course, Rafa Cabrera Bello from Spain, he wants to be in that consideration also. And I think he's almost, you see him maturing almost like, a Seve or, the Spaniards. He's actually more mature than I think Sergio, as far as his emotions, the way he keeps everything in check. Yeah. He just goes out and plays the game.
Be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, because I really think, we're at least 1 to 2 more Ryder Cups away from seeing these young folks that you're talking about getting in there and being a part of the European part of this.
Well, I think Rafa's got a win in him, if not 2 wins in him by the time.
It's possible.
And if that happens, Hugh, he's on the team.
Well, then he's earned it, and that's fine.
Absolutely. I agree. I want to give an update for a USA player, Bryson DeChambeau, again playing as an amateur in this event, much like he's done over the last several weeks. He has yet to declare himself as professional. He would have picked up 29,000 euro, which would have been a decent paycheck. He finishes tied for 18th at 70, 69, 68, 69. So Bryson, again, just going out there and just playing golf. All the clubs the same length.
Yeah, and I'm about tired of reading about that. But it's either, come on, bud, step up. Either you're going to play amateur golf because you want to play in the US Am, the British Am, whatever it is.
Right.
Just say that, and you're playing in these events, but you're taking spots away from guys that are trying to make a living.
Yeah.
So either step up and turn professional, or take your exemption into the majors that you get because of the way you've played and what you've won, and get out of the way.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I understand your point.
But,
absolutely.
I mean, you're taking a place away from a young person, or could be a veteran, but somebody that's trying to make a living playing golf. They've got family, whatever. Everybody's got bills. You're not getting paid a nickel, and you're taking up a spot. I mean, if you've Monday qualified and gotten in, great. If not, goodbye.
Right. How proud of you are Ernie, about Ernie, how well he's playing. All of a sudden, I mean, this is a guy that at the end of last year was giving up the game. He was going to retire just because of his putting woes. I mean, he had the yips. And now he's gone cross-handed. He's gone a mallet head. And all of a sudden now he finishes 18th place. Again, 68, 67, 74, 67.
Well, from what I understand, with everything that he's done, with his foundation, and his good friends. I mean, he's got his good buddies, the guys that we used to play with in South Africa, around him, helping him do this. And Nico van Rensburg and Hendrik Beer, a bunch of different guys. And I think some of them just said, hey, step up and get back to what you were doing. Let's just see if you can handle this. And if you don't, if you want to retire, that's fine.
Absolutely.
But you know what? They said it's too good for you to stand out here and hit balls the way you do and to see these families and these kids and everybody going, man, this is good. Conquer the demon, work on it, and then see what happens.
Great. And
I think they kind of, because trust me, the Dutchmen down there in South Africa, George, they're very blunt. When you're an American in there, they didn't bother to tell you what they thought about you. Now, once you got in and they liked you, they were great.
They basically told him either poop or get off the pot.
Exactly right, and I think that's what happened. And he just kind of stepped up and he's done it. And the guy has got it in him to win. I'm just telling you.
His ball striking,
he still hits it 9 miles.
Oh God, he's good. But I noticed during this weekend that with that cross-handed grip and the putter, he feels more comfortable. He's more solid in his strokes. There's no yipping going on. And, of course, he has the 74 on day 3, but he got aggressive on a couple of holes and it ended up costing him.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's another 69 in the clubhouse, and he's more up, closer to the top of the leaders.
But you watch him, he's getting aggressive. That means he's feeling something.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that's the key. So, I hope. I mean, like I said, I love him to death. He has been a great friend to our family. And I'd love to see him win another major.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going with my thoughts. I'd like to see him win a major.
Yes.
Yep. Especially the Open. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's then wrap this thing up. Of course, we're going to go out. The big event this weekend, of course, always happens with the Waste Management Open is, of course, the Super Bowl. And so it's become last year it just happened to be the Super Bowl was held in Phoenix along with the Waste Management at the same time. So there was the 2 super parties going on at one time last year. Now this year, of course, Super Bowl in California, in Palo Alto, and then, of course, the Waste Management, where it always is, there at TPC. So Waste Management, again, no failure to entertain.
Oh, no.
No failure at all.
No.
Ricky, Saturday, 120,000 people wrapped around number 16, I guess, whatever. He stands on the green doing this, and he's playing with Kevin Kisner, and bless Kisner's heart, he's trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
Come on, Kev. It ain't happening, baby. I mean, that's just the way it is. And now there's so many people. Supposedly Saturday there was 172,000 tickets sold, something like that.
Well, Jonna Beaner was there with her family.
Oh, really?
Yes, and she got a bunch of autographs, and she said it was just nuts. And I'm like, trust me, I've had beer and beer cans thrown at me before.
Oh.
And it was, you're talking back, 18 years ago. Now
there was no grandstands.
Well, there was grandstands, but now it's an amphitheater. Now it's an amphitheater. We always had them around the tee.
Well, it's like
and
they
around
showed
the green,
Tiger's hole in one, and I mean, here as you can see for 5 miles.
Oh, Crafty and I were sitting in the clubhouse about to eat lunch. We just finished. And he made the hole in one, and I'm telling you, the window shook in that clubhouse. It was like an earthquake.
Yeah, 2.5 holes away.
Oh, my gosh. And, I mean, and now it's just, they're betting, and it's a blast. And it was just watching that yesterday, and I was flipping.
Corey was out yesterday. He was out over the weekend. He went as a guest at Callaway. And he said they went Friday, and he said it was such a mass of people. He said it was like Woodstock. And they left. He said they started walking out at 4 o'clock. They finally got a bus to take them back to the hotel at 6:40.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like
it took 2.5 hours to wait for a bus.
Yeah. Well, you walk from TPC right there at 16, 17 right there and go across the road to where they have what they call the bird's nest, which is a tent that looks like it goes on forever. Like it would be in the Arab desert for the sheik, and it goes on for, and it is the biggest party on tour, period. There's 100+ in there in this tent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking 100,000+ people partying in this tent.
Wow.
And plus you've got everything going on across the street. I mean, I saw an article.
And somewhere out there, you actually got golf going on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I saw where somebody said, you know what? You want to grow golf? You want to make the tour more popular? Run more golf tournaments like this.
Sure, absolutely.
Create a football game, some hockey game, but create this kind of atmosphere.
This is what ticked me off about Bubba's comments.
Oh,
you know, I have defended him with. I mean,
we've argued about him too many times, so now you're finally going to understand. But go ahead.
He's an idiot.
No question.
So.
No question. You've got that many people. You hit it in a bunker and they clap. You tip your hat and they boo you. I mean, what does that tell you about yourself?
He's just, wow. Okay. Well, what ends up happening, Ricky Fowler stemming off, I was going to tell you, Corey informed me that he followed Ricky because he wanted to see the shoes on Friday. He's sending me little tweets and text messages saying these have got to be the most god-awful, ugly pants and shoes I've ever seen. No. Long story short, he said they caught Ricky on 2 or 3. And he said it was as loud on 2 or 3 on the tee box than it was on 17 and 18.
Oh, I'm sure.
He said that they were 12 to 20 deep around the tee box all the way down the fairways. He said it was the most amazing thing he had ever seen as far as a mass of people like that coming together. And he goes, there's no discussions of an atomic bomb or anything. He said, because this will take out the entire Southwest.
So, and let me throw this in there, and I'm getting ready to throw you a wrinkle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how much you love, and this is not Augusta, but I know how much you love this one particular golf course in Atlanta. Just think about if they ever did something like that. From Phoenix to in Atlanta. But here's the thing. This is bigger than the Tour Championship.
Yes.
This is run better than the Tour Championship.
Yes.
And it's a shame.
I would agree with you on both points.
It is a shame because this right here is
but that will never happen at Eastlake.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the problem because you look at the Super Bowl last night, everything that went on. Was it a great game? No. But it was enjoyable to watch. Mm-hmm. The entertainment was incredible. Mm-hmm. It was a show. Mm-hmm. That's what Phoenix is. It is a show.
Yes.
For golf.
Yes.
It makes golf popular.
Golf is an entertainment
with every
sport.
Tom, Dick, and Harry in the West Coast. Phoenix area to the West Coast.
Right.
That's everybody wants to go.
Right.
Because of 16 and all the chaos. That's where the tour's dropping the ball here.
Sure.
I mean, because the most boring tournament of the year on the PGA Tour is Eastlake. It's the most boring event on tour, other than somebody winning the $10 million annuity or whatever the money, whatever it is now. So think about it.
It'll never happen, though.
But that's supposed to be your Super Bowl of the tour.
That's right.
And it's awful.
Yeah. Good point. All right, Hideki Matsuyama ends up in a 4-hole playoff against Ricky Fowler. Harris English just misses out. He was going after it. Danny Lee, Boo Weekley was also up there.
Nice to see Boo.
It's always good to see Boo.
Yeah. Boo played well.
And so I enjoyed Boo's little hybrid on 17 going for the green, and he actually makes the center of the green with a hybrid. So, I mean, Boo ain't lost nothing.
No. And
he's gained a few things, but he ain't lost nothing.
Yeah, the beard's as bad as Colt's. But here's the thing. This goes to show you, Ricky made a mental mistake because of emotions and the situation. This is where his caddy dropped the ball. Because if Boo can hit a hybrid on the green, or you've got Matsuyama and Danny Lee hitting 3 woods right there, 3 yards short and putting it, why are you hitting driver?
I don't know. It's the only thing I figured is he's just got confidence in it. He feels the most comfortable with it.
Oh, he hit a perfect tee shot, George. The problem is it ran he hit it 360 yards and ran it through the green in the water.
Yeah. And you
got a 2-shot lead.
And the fairway's tilted that way toward the pond anyway, and it bounds and bounds and bounds and bounds and bounds and then goes in. So,
And you got a 2-shot lead. Go in and make a par. You still got a 1-shot lead with 1 to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they finished the last hole the way they did. They both make birdie. Guess who wins?
Yep.
Instead, he loses in front of his grandfather, which was emotionally stunning to him.
Yeah.
And it was a mistake by both parties involved.
Well, it was, and I agree. So they end up going through the 4-hole playoff. Ricky makes bogey on the 4th hole. Of course, Hideki makes a par, and Hideki picks up the win. So congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama. Of course, the best player out of Japan right now, so without a doubt.
Yeah. And Fowler is his 3rd bogey of the week on 17.
Isn't that crazy?
Bogeyed it twice yesterday.
Not good timing.
No.
Not good timing.
And, folks, it's not a hard hole. I don't care if the pin's in the back.
No, he could have taken 3-iron and literally
you can get
flipped
3-iron
the wedge
lob
up there.
wedge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Flipped
not
the
long.
wedge up there. Yeah.
It was, 306?
Well, they purposely move it forward so the boys go after it. They want that another hole entertainment value coming off of 16.
Why not?
So they've got to create some sort of a filter to get some of the people out of the stadium.
Yeah.
Out of the amphitheater, as you refer to it.
But, I mean, it was 306 yards yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he's hitting driver.
Reachable with a hybrid, as Boo proved.
That's what I'm saying. And, you know, put it right up there in front, chip it up.
Yeah, I'm
there
not
and
quite
go.
sure. The only reason I saw it was he choked down 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches actually, and I just figured he's got confidence with it. So I just kind of passed it off at that point until I saw it come off the face, and I go, that's not going to get down. Even if it had got on the front left portion of the green, it would have went in the water on the left side.
Well, even if he gets into the bunker on the right, it's going to run up that back slope, and he's still got no shot.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
I mean, that bunker is not just a big
bailout,
flat.
right.
It's going to roll up into that lip, and he's done.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Phil Mickelson ends up 69, 71, 65, 71. He gave everybody kind of a surge charge. Everybody was excited on Saturday when he posted the 65. But, again, he goes back out, and as Phil has for the last couple of years, he kind of lets his head overrun his you-know-what. So Ryan Moore finishes tied for 11th. Zach Johnson, another good week for Zach. This coming off, of course, just changing his clubs to PXG, so he's getting used to those. But as we mentioned, Boo Weekley has a good week. J.B. Holmes has a good week. John Huh, a good week. And Bryce Mulder, one of our Georgia boys. Bryce, I played golf with a couple times while he was at Tech, and he's a superb young man. And I was really wanting, after Thursday and Friday, to see him win this thing and, move himself back up into at least a card security level.
Yeah.
That's all. But he wasn't able to pull it off. Bryce ends up shooting 73 on Friday, 64 on Saturday to move himself back into consideration, but then 71 on Sunday. So the Waste Management was all that it wanted to be. I mean, it is one of the biggest shows on earth. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Expertly put off. I'm not real happy with Faraday in his new role. I think they took him having to talk so much, took some of the, what would you say, energy out of the bullet, let's say. He doesn't quite have the cutting edge comments and references. And when Gary McCord's not there,
well, I think
that's a whole nother thing.
I think David's also trying to feel his way around Johnny Miller in the whole situation. I think when he gets more comfortable, the jabs are going to start coming.
I hope so. I really do, because I love it when he broadcasts. When he and McCord are together, that's Abbott and Costello.
Oh, no question about it, David.
That's just sheer entertainment.
I just think right now he's trying to feel his way out, get to know the producers, and just his first one. Give him a break.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
And,
I am.
But I tell you what, though, did you see on the shot track when Mickelson went for 15?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he hit it so far out in the lake. Did you see what shot track said?
No, I didn't see what shot track said.
It didn't say. It was that. It just went another. They had no measurement, no nothing. It was so far out there.
It was over across the lake.
It was like another.
Wow. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us here on Monday Morning Golf Wrap. Of course, TGD today. We're so happy to be with you and bring you what happened over the weekend. Coming up this week, we've got Pebble Beach. So always a lot of fun.
And I tell you what, after watching the weather at the Super Bowl yesterday, it could be a good week in Pebble Beach because,
Oh,
that's
gorgeous
just right
weather.
down the road.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty promising.
Well, Rory's not playing, but of course we'll see the likes of Phil and several others. So
My buddy Jerry Kelly's playing with Aaron Rodgers there. He told me that down at the show. And
we'll also see the return. Jordan Spieth took the week off. He'll now come back and play at Pebble Beach, so we'll see Jordan get back into the fray. So actually, Rory's taking the week off after Dubai. He's then going to play in Los Angeles week after next. So we'll see them two catch up together again. World number 1 and number 2. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, you can click on the radio or the TGD TV tab in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank Jeff behind the glass. But don't go anywhere. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.